What if what you're seeing out there is coming from within? Could it be that the world changes the moment you realize where seeing truly comes from? Today we are contemplating Lesson 30. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. This lesson completes the reversal of projection. It does this not by adding a new idea, but by collapsing the distance between the inner and outer. It removes the last refuge of separation, the one that says, God is out there and I am in here. And this is the pivot where vision stops being a concept and becomes a recognition. The perceptual error that we are aiming to undo in this lesson is this. You believe seeing is something the eyes do, aimed outward at a separate world. But it isn't. The Course is introducing a new kind of projection, not fear projected outward, but truth extended from within. The ego mind has been using perception to push out and exile or remove from yourself what you don't want. You don't want to feel guilty, and so you see the guilty in the world. You don't want to recognize how you threaten and scare yourself and put yourself into states of lack and danger. And so you instead see these playing out on the screen of the world stage in front of you. That is the ego's projection. Separation maintained by distance. Vision is the opposite. Vision is joining, not by collapsing boundaries physically, but by realizing the source of what you see has never been external. This comes back to the foundational premise of the Course that perception is projection. God is in everything you see because God is in your mind. So meaning is not localized in objects. It is recognized through the presence that beholds all that you see. This is why real vision is not limited by near or far. Space is an illusion that limits only the body's eyes, but vision is of the mind. And the mind does not see by scanning outward. It sees by remembering inward. This lesson, then, is the springboard because it restores true causality. The world does not give you God. God is not out there in the world. But your mind, aligned with the infinite creator, reveals that God is everywhere. And not as a concept, though, but as a quiet familiarity, not based on the past, but based on an intrinsic recognition. That old, familiar to the ego world fades, but not because it is destroyed, but because it was never really there in the first place. And illusions are replaced by reality the moment they are recognized and no longer worshipped as the truth. So before we go deeper, I want to invite you to take this moment to open your body and your mind to the presence of this instant here and now. might take a deep breath. You might let your body relax. And now, let's begin to unfold our contemplation into dialogue. And the first question that I want to ask is this. Up to now, most of us have assumed that the world affects the mind. What changes when the Course states the opposite? That what we see is determined by what is already in the mind.
The entire ball game, honestly. When you're used to thinking effects cause causes, like a situation making you feel angry, it feels pretty fixed, right? Like reality has this momentum and you're just reacting. But if you start with the mind shaping perception, then nothing actually has its own intrinsic weight. What seems external is just your internal state projected out.
So the lesson says we're using a new kind of projection. How is this different from the projection we've been undoing up to now?
That's a good question. I think up to this point, what we've been undoing is basically taking the world's baggage, anger, fear, judgments, and treating it like it's external. The projection, seeing that baggage out there and reacting to it as though it's really happening to us. But this new projection, this isn't about changing the world. It's about changing where you're looking from. It's like choosing your filter, opting for peace instead of seeing the world through a lens of attack, even if the situations haven't changed. It's choosing to see holiness instead of separation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, but what happens when projection is no longer used to get rid of what we dislike, but to recognize what we want to see?
That feels fundamentally different, doesn't it? We get so comfortable using projection to defend against discomfort, seeing enemies, blaming, justifying our stuff. But when you flip it to projecting what you desire instead, it's like realizing you've been holding a flashlight backwards, blinding yourself with your own defense. Then suddenly you could be shining it forward, illuminating what you genuinely want to experience. Except that illumination comes from within, not from trying to manipulate what's already out there.
So the Course then says about vision, that vision joins while ordinary seeing keeps things apart. What does it mean experientially to join with what we see rather than stand apart from it?
Ooh, that's where it shifts from theory to feeling, I think. Like when you're standing apart, there's always this sense of I'm here and that's over there, a separation that needs protection, that creates anxiety. But joining, it's the sense of recognizing wholeness instead of fragments, less like looking at something and more like recognizing yourself in it. No boundary between the observer and the observed. When I read that, I think of, well, it feels less intellectual and more of a bodily sensation. Like spaciousness, maybe? Softening?
Is spaciousness and softening really a bodily sensation?
I think so, yeah. Or maybe people tell me it is. I've heard people describe that kind of release as a loosening in the chest, a letting go of tension in the shoulders, or just a general sense of the body opening up somehow, like a knot untying. If there's no separation, there's no need to hold on to anything. Protection, posture, control. The body relaxes into its natural state. Does that feel right?
Yeah, but as you say that, I recognize that essentially the body is almost like a barometer, isn't it? And it's not just, it's not like the spaciousness is in the body, but the body is responding to what is in the mind. And when we're in the ego state of contracted consciousness and the body is tense and contracted and in survival mode, and when we are in vision, then there is nothing to contract or protect against. And so the body opens.
Exactly. The body becomes this really honest instrument, doesn't it? You don't have to guess it whether you're in that relaxed, spacious place. You can feel it physiologically. The body is basically responding to what the mind's chosen to focus on. It's almost like it's not spaciousness in the body, it's the absence of tightness that normally defends against whatever we think the threat is. And there's no threat when the perception is shifted to seeing God in everything.
When the lesson says God is in my mind, what does that not mean?
That's brilliant. What does it not mean? It doesn't mean we're God. It's not this ego-stroking affirmation of being divine and special. And it definitely doesn't mean looking at yourself and believing you are in charge of the universe. What God is in the mind means is our connection to creation, that our essence, our source, is accessible from right here. It's not separate, like God is some distant being looking through our eyeballs. God is present because the connection can't be broken. The mind is God's presence, not a sovereign kingdom.
That's so cool. The mind is God's presence. Well, how do we recognize the presence of God in the mind without just turning it into another belief, image, or some spiritual idea?
That's the trap, isn't it? It's almost designed to become another mental construct. The key feels like letting go of the need to grasp it. Instead of trying to find God in your mind, it's more like noticing the mind when it's not thinking, not actively thinking about God or spirituality or lessons from the Course, just when your mind is empty, present without the urge to fill it up with ideas about enlightenment. Maybe then you can sense the space where everything isn't created.
So, what is then that felt difference between projecting meaning and recognizing this presence?
That felt difference. It's subtle, but huge. Projecting meaning feels like effort, doesn't it? Like you're making something up and then imposing it on reality. It creates a sense of work. I need to make this meaningful, or I need to understand this. But recognizing presence feels passive. It's like what's already there before the story begins. There's an aliveness underneath everything that doesn't need to earn attention, like coming home rather than building a home. Does that resonate?
I think you pointed out a very cool and very subtle distinction, that sense of even positive projection, right? That like, okay, well, I'm going to positively reinterpret, or I'm going to say, yes, God is in that, chair or phone or computer. It's like that's the effort, right? That affirmative projection, trying to get to enlightenment, trying to get to vision, versus something very effortless, which I think, is what the Course refers to in later lessons as I need do nothing.
Exactly. Even well-intentioned spiritual work still carries that imprint of separation. Like we're doing something, adding something, when actually, if we could get out of our own way for a moment, we'd just see what was always there. Trying to get somewhere reinforces the sense that we're not already home. And really, the whole point isn't about fixing anything at all. It's about noticing there was nothing broken to begin with.
What a relief. The lesson says the world will open up, and what we saw before will not even be faintly visible. So what exactly disappears when vision replaces physical seeing in this way?
What disappears, everything that was built on separation. The fear, the need to defend, the judgments, the stories about who we are, who they are, the hierarchy of special versus ordinary, good versus bad. Not the experiences themselves, just the meaning you assign to them. Because when there's no separation, who's even around to perceive it as special or threatening? It all just is. Like what remains when all of the filters come off.
So vision is not something we achieve, is it?
No, not at all. It feels more like something we undo than achieve. We're not aiming for enlightenment, we're just letting go of what's getting in the way. It's more like uncovering something that's already there than building something new. Like finally taking off rose-tinted glasses and seeing clearly for the first time instead of striving for better vision.
Yeah, I love that. So as we bring this particular session to an end, I would love to invite you once again to just share with us what you think might help us to truly broaden our perspective and embody this lesson in a way that we've never done before.
I think give yourself permission to not manage your fear. When you're standing there feeling afraid or stressed or judgmental about something, stop trying to shift it, soften it, or do anything with it. Let it be whatever it is without changing it. Be with the actual feeling of it without interpreting it, without fixing it. That's where the opening happens, not in the thinking or trying. And you let go.
Beautiful. Thank you, Shanti. And as we close this session, just notice what has shifted for you. Not in the world, but maybe in the way the world is appearing. And if something opened for you here, even quietly, I'd love to hear what you noticed. So drop it in the comments below the video. Not what you think about this lesson, but what you saw differently. And now, let us go into the silence.